Hello and welcome to the viewers of this video. This is the Orange Fan here, bringing you another entry for the episode Recap and Thoughts category. This video will be dedicated to the Funimation dub of episode 41 of Dragonball Super. Picking up where we last left off, Beerus and Champa are both really scared because of the arrival of Grand Zeno. Vegeta and Piccolo just think he's a child that ended up getting lost, but Beerus is quick to inform them that Zeno is actually the Omni King, the supreme ruler of all 12 universes. It's also worth noting that Shin, the younger of the Universe 7 Supreme Kais, is also unaware of who Zeno is, but old Kai is, shall we say, quick to catch him up to speed. So the Supreme Kais, the Destroyers, and their assistants all fly down and kneel before Zeno to show their utmost respect to him. And it's worth pointing out that all of them, including Beerus and Champa, are all on their best behavior when talking to him. We finally get to hear Zeno talk, and he's voiced by Sarah Wiedenheft? That's my first time seeing that name. But in any case, Zeno says that he came to warn Beerus and Champa because he feels that the two of them are not fulfilling their duties as destroyers. We also see that Whis and Vados take the chance to I guess you could say they talk smack about their respective destroyers when Zeno scolds them. But we also hear that while Zeno did intend to warn them, he actually did get to see the Tournament of Destroyers, but he was watching it from a distance where the other characters were unaware of his presence. And Zeno revealed that he actually liked what he saw of the tournament. He liked it so much that he actually wants to have another tournament, but this time he wants to have fighters from all 12 universes. And as you can imagine, Goku is very excited about the prospect of fighting warriors from even more universes. And he makes his excitement about this very clear. And the gods present are quite horrified that Goku is talking to the Omni King in such a casual manner. But they're surprised to see that Zeno actually doesn't take offense to Goku's casual demeanor around him. He's actually pretty chill about it, and he even shakes Goku's hand, and, well, his response is Goku is funny and he likes funny people. So Zeno reaffirms he wants to have another tournament with all 12 universes, and then he leaves with his bodyguards. His bodyguards actually say later Gator to everyone before they depart. Because of this new turn of events, Champa actually spares the lives of the Universe 6 fighters, since he feels he'll need them around for when Zeno's tournament is ready. And before they leave, Kaba offers Vegeta the chance to visit planet Sadala one of these days, and Goku is hoping that he can have another rematch with Hit before this upcoming tournament comes about. And before leaving, Champa agrees to the terms of their deal. Beerus gets to have the 6 Super Dragonballs that he collected. But Champa does mention that he hasn't been able to find the 7th and final of the Super Dragonballs, despite looking between both Universe 6 and Universe 7 for a long time and very thoroughly. So once the Universe 6 inhabitants all leave, Beerus insists that Bulma help him find the last Super Dragon Ball, and Bulma keeps repeating that she'll only find it if Beerus doesn't make an evil wish on the Super Dragon Balls. She keeps insisting that so much that Beerus eventually is like, okay, I get it, I won't, just quit your nagging already. And Vegeta points out to Bulma that's probably the best they're gonna get out of someone like Beerus. So Bulma activates the Super Dragon radar, but she doesn't see any indication of the 7th Dragon Ball. But when Android 18 takes a look at the radar, she points out that it says all 7 of the Super Dragon Balls are gathered together already. But when Bulma looks above them, she only sees the 6 Super Dragon Balls that they were already aware of. Monaka then gets Whis' attention, and he says that in his profession, he always has to look at cosmic maps. And he says that when there's confusion like this, it usually means that someone isn't looking at the situation three-dimensionally. Whis picks up on what Monaka is trying to say, so he has everyone gather up inside the hexahedron, and he takes it just a little bit away from where the Nameless Planet and the Super Dragon Balls are all together, and then he blasts the Nameless Planet. But when he does so, it turns out it was actually the final Super Dragon Ball all along. Piccolo suspects that maybe an asteroid collided with the Super Dragon Ball, and what remained of it ended up covering the Super Dragon Ball. He figures that it must have been a very long time since the last time someone used the Super Dragon Balls. So Beerus is wondering how they can activate them, and Bulma remembers what she learned when she and Jocko went to pay Zeno a visit, and she informs him they have to say the chant, "Divine Dragon, come forth and grant my wish, peas and carrots." And they have to say it in the divine language. But since peas and carrots doesn't have a translation in the divine language, they just have to say that part in the universal language, so whichever language you're watching the show in. And Beerus recites the chant in the divine language, which is actually just the language of whichever version of the show you're watching, but it's said backwards. You could think of it as sort of like the spells that Zatanna from the DC Universe says, or when she says her spells, it's a sentence backwards. That's what it is here for the divine language. So Beerus says the chant, and then Whis, who's outside of the hexahedron, he says it towards the Super Dragon Balls, and at first it seems like nothing happened, but then they activate, and we finally get to see the eternal dragon of the Super Dragon Balls, Super Shenron, and boy, he is big. I mean, really big, and he even eats everyone up in the hexahedron and Whis. But Whis and Beerus are both quick to assure everyone that this is the only way that they're going to be able to actually communicate with Super Shenron, because Super Shenron is so big, they have to go to what, Beerus refers to it as the core of Super Shenron, so they have to make the wish to the core of Super Shenron because of how large Super Shenron really is. And when they reach the core, we get to hear Super Shenron talk, and just like the other Eternal Dragons in the Funimation dub, he's voiced by Chris Sabat as well, although Super Shenron only speaks in the divine language, though the other characters are quick to piece together that he's probably telling them to make their wish. And Beerus admits he hadn't thought about his wish yet, and he gives it some time to think it over, and then he recites something in the divine language, which Whis then says to Super Shenron. And, well, the wish has been made. The group are teleported outside of Super Shenron. He vanishes, and the Super Dragon Balls scatter between Universe 6 and Universe 7 to recharge. And Bulma and Goku keep asking Beerus what he wished for, considering they went through the trouble of winning a tournament for the Super Dragon Balls. But Beerus claims that he just wished for a more comfortable bed. But we soon find out what Beerus really wished for, and if you had the closed captionings on, you probably figured it out already. But in any case, we're back in Universe 6, and it looks like the Universe 6 fighters were all dropped off back at their respective homes, because now it's just Champa and Vados. But then Vados' staff is starting to give off a reading, and when she looks at it, she shows Champa, and we see that, well, it turns out Universe 6's Earth has been restored to full health. All its inhabitants have been brought back to life, and, well, civilization on Universe 6's Earth has been advanced to the point where it's as advanced as Universe 7's Earth, and Champa wonders how this can be. Vados pieces together that Beerus' wish on the Super Dragonballs is to thank for this outcome, and sure enough, the two of them see one of the Super Dragonballs flying by them, and Vados realizes now they will get to experience the cuisine of Earth just as Beerus and Whis have been able to. And Whis elsewhere comments that it was rather kind of Beerus to do that. Beerus and Champa both insist that Beerus' motive was just so Champa would owe him, but I think Beerus cared about his brother enough to help him out. So after that's done, Whis drops Beerus and Monaka off on Beerus' planet, and then he's gonna go drop everyone else off back on Earth, or their respective homes in the case of Jocko and the Galactic King. And after they've all left, Beerus is ready to reward Monaka for his part in motivating Goku and Vegeta. So Monaka's back in his work uniform, his delivery uniform, and he has his space delivery truck, we'll call it that. And Beerus fills the space delivery truck is now full of treasure. That's that's Monaka's reward from Beerus for what Monaka did for his part in Beerus' plan. And Monaka is quite pleased with the reward, but he's worried about if he has to show up again to motivate Goku some more. And the episode ends with the Z fighters all heading back to Earth, where it's still in Universe 7. And yeah, that's how we end the episode. So there you go. We finally wrapped up the main storyline of the Champa Saga, and I have to say, I liked the Champa Saga. I thought it was a fun saga, especially because, ever since, the last time we had a saga that had a tournament as its main focus was back in the classic Dragon Ball series. The Piccolo Jr. saga, or the Piccolo Jr. sub-saga within the Piccolo saga, was the last time we had a storyline that had a tournament as a big part of it. Well, when you take into account the Cell Games wasn't a real tournament, it was just kind of a facade, or it was just like the Cell Games wasn't a real tournament. It was just something that... It was just an event cell dressed up like a tournament, but... yeah, not a real one. And while it's true the Buu Saga did have 2 tournaments in them, well, the last one, the one at the end of Dragon Ball Z, was interrupted and was never finished. And while the first tournament in the Buu Saga did get wrapped up with the Battle Royale, it wasn't like... it wasn't the main focus of the Buu Saga, and even if it did wrap up in a rather hasty manner, it didn't get to go through the full progression like a traditional tournament. So, I liked it. The point I'm trying to get across is I thought this was a nice touch that we finally got to see a saga with a tournament as the main point about it. And I thought it was an enjoyable one. And we finally get to meet Zeno the Omni King, and he kind of follows the franchise's tradition about how you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, because it's been known that there have been plenty of characters in the past who are actually more powerful than their unassuming appearance would suggest, and the Omni King continues that trend. He looks like an adorable child, but he's so powerful that even the Destroyers and the Supreme Kais alike fear him. And Beerus even comments that the Omni King could destroy all 12 universes with a blink of an eye if he really wanted to. So, yeah, he's powerful despite his cute appearance. And we finally get to see Super Shenron, and yeah, the Super Dragon Balls live up to their name of being, well, Super Dragon Balls, and Super Shenron definitely is incredibly powerful compared to the Shenron we know from Earth and Porunga. And yeah, Champa had said that apparently Super Shenron has no limitations to what wishes he can grant. Just imagine if just imagine if the Super Dragon Balls ended up in the wrong hands. Hint, hint. And as for the wish that Beerus ended up making, it was rather heartwarming. It was nice to see Beerus and Champa really do care about each other as brothers, even though they have their sibling spats. Well, sibling spats taken to a more exaggerated level, but you get the idea. And yeah, they claim, it was just so Beerus could have Champa owe him later, but yeah, I think they did. That he cares about his brother, and that was nice of him to do that for Champa. And that's right, Zeno did bring up that he has plans for another tournament with more universes involved. Now, of course, if you've been following with the sub version of Super, or if you've just been reading up on the news or current events, then well, you know what happens there, hint, hint. But we'll cross that bridge in time. It might be a while, but we'll eventually cross that bridge. So now we finished the main storyline of the Champa Saga, and I did made a point to stress the main storyline of it. And why is that? Well, looking at episode listings for Dragon Ball Super, it looks like the next set of episodes are 5, I've seen people refer to them as breather episodes, so I think that's what we'll call them, because we're not going to begin the 4th saga right away just yet. These are just some breather episodes, like I mentioned earlier, and I say that because usually in these episode listings, it seems like people treat these breather episodes as just part of the Champa Saga. They just lump them in there at the end of the Champa Saga, even though the main storyline is complete. It's a lot like what happened in classic Dragon Ball, how the last, I think it was 5 episodes there too, actually. The last 5 episodes of the Piccolo Jr. sub-saga, and by extension, classic Dragon Ball overall, was a filler event. It was the filler arc about Goku and Chi-Chi's wedding. So the main storyline of the Piccolo Jr. saga finished up before the actual saga itself technically ended, or sub-saga, and well, that's what it seems like here. We finished up the main storyline of the Champa Saga, but now we're going to go on to the some breather episodes that are kind of like an epilogue for it before we get on to the 4th saga of Dragon Ball Super. But besides that, it looks like we're going to have to wait an extra week before we start these breather episodes, because it looks like Toonami's going to take a break from new episodes for, or Adult Swim, Adult Swim, Toonami. They're going to take a break next weekend because it's going to be Thanksgiving weekend. So it won't be until the first weekend of December when we start these breather episodes. But I've been patient, so I can be patient for one more week. And I hope that you're all patient as well if you're following along with the dub like I am. But there we go. We finished the main storyline of the Champa Saga now. Take care, and until next time.